My name is Kaisarodi, and I'm the Director of Continuing Professional Development. For today's session, our presenter is Mr. ZUBAIR CHOUDHRY, the President of the Society of Professional Accountants of Canada. So, as the world is experiencing unprecedented time, post-COVID world is going to be very different. With few in-person encounters at social meetings, conferences, and other social events, the biggest challenge for accountants and analysts and tax practitioners will be how to engage new clients, how to retain them, how to ensure safe and smooth flow of information. So telecommuting and remote working, along with virtual offices, are likely to be more common. So in today's session, Mr. ZUBAIR is going to share his perspective about virtual accounting office.
Thank you, Mr. Ali. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to our series of new RPA webinars, which we are planning and doing. And today we are talking about RPA Virtual Office seminar. And I know if you just look at the agenda of today's webinar, so we have very few, 4 or 5 items, but it could also take more time to discuss pre and post COVID-19 accounting profession, virtual office setup and new norm, working from home, and virtual accounting practice, cloud accounting and fintech, what is required and what needs to be done, and client confidentiality and cybersecurity, what you should do and what you should not do. And then there'll be a question answer. Basically, I would like to allow the participant to feel free to ask the questions as we go. I do not want you to hold on to your question while we are on the topic, so you can have the question related to the topic we are discussing. So we talk about that, and as you know that we are going through very unusual time at this time of the life, that with COVID-19, which has changed everything what we do and how we live and how to conduct our business. So I'm going to talk about about the pre-COVID-19, about accounting profession, little bit of history of accounting. I think it's important for us to remember and to know that what accounting profession is. So if you go back, basically professionally recognized accounting designation was started by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. It established in 1980. So today we are almost 140 years. And then in AICPA, the American Institute of Professional Accountant was started in 1887. And then CIAPA, the Canadian Institute of Accredited Public Accountant, was established in 1938. So that's where we represent the CIAPA, which was started in 1938. So about 140 years of history of accounting when officially the profession was started. And I'll just tell you my own experience that in 1980s was my first accounting job as a junior accountant. When I started that job, we used to write the journals and ledgers and cash book manually with the pen and pencils, and then manually add them up and balance them up and do all those things. It sounds like a Stone Age discussion now. I know when I'm talking to the young accountants right now. But that's how the accounting profession was. So imagine from 1880 till 1980, we were still doing the same old-fashioned writing journals and ledgers and cash book. And that was when the computerized accounting introduced in 80s and mid-80s. And then where the accounting program came, I still remember the first time we used to use Lotus 123. That is gone, and now we are using Excel. Excel is the one is very basic and important tool for accountants to do their spreadsheet, their schedules, their analysis, and all that. And I know you will know about that one as well through our webinars. So this is where we came. And then I tell you about 1985, I came to Canada. And at that time, I joined CGA. And CGA at that time was forward-looking current education curriculum. That's what they were doing, training all the CGA students on computer accounting like ACPAC. And at the same time in Canada, the tax preparation doing the by software was introduced, and CGA was teaching and training of students at that time how to prepare tax return using the software and computers. So that's what I learned. So when I learned the ACPAC computer accounting and the tax preparation software, my job was like easy, and I was have so many job opportunities because I knew what at that time need to be done by an accountant. And imagine from that 85 till now, we are still using the old-fashioned same tax return filing, same accounting software, same program. But there were already tech people with the technology, people who are expert, they were preparing the accounting profession to do it in cloud accounting and artificial intelligence, fintech using robotic, and all these kind of things they were developing and they were testing. But the accountants were reluctant to join in or to train themselves or to adopt these new technologies. And mind that you must know that majority of accountants in Canada and North America, about I would say about 40% of accountants are over 50 or 55. So imagine the old age of the accounting professional. They were not as much willing to learn the new technology, learn the new software, new program, and all these kind of things. So that was holding us back. But then imagine the COVID-19 came. Basically, COVID-19 is pushing us to move forward faster, adopt the technology quicker, learn yourself, relearn yourself, train yourself, and change yourself. So this is what COVID-19 is forcing, not only to the accounting profession, but other professions as well. I remember that the doctors in the other countries were doing the telemedicine. You could call the doctor, or you could go online and doctor will prescribe you the medicine. But that was not allowed or not acceptable in America or Canada and North American countries. But now, because of COVID-19, even the Canadian and allowed doctors to do the telemedicine. That today, if you have a doctor's appointment, my doctor's appointment is cancelled, and now they're telling me the doctor will call you and discuss with you your medical condition and prescribe you the medicine. So imagine that one. The change is not coming only in accounting profession, but all other profession across the board. But as accountant, we must prepare for it. We must be ready for it. And where this COVID-19 have given us some economic hardship, some public health issues, but at the same time, it's opening doors. It's opening doors of opportunities. Imagine that how much money the governments have put in the system. If American 2.5 trillion, Canadian almost 300 billion. So imagine that money in the system will be creating so much economy, so much job creation, and so much adoption of the new technologies in the system. So the old norm, we have to forget it. We are not going back to pre-COVID lifestyle, no way. Now you will see that coming online ordering, door-to-door delivery, online payments, online signature on the documentation. I did a legal closing other day, and where the lawyer asked me, sorry, I cannot see you because of the social distancing. You have to join me on the Zoom meeting. And on the Zoom meeting, I signed all the paper and everything and sent back to him. It was acceptable, and the deal was closed. So basically, all these things which are coming to affect as soon the economy is open and we go back to the work, and the things will change. Already, most of us are already working from home. So imagine that before COVID-19, if an accountant has an office at home, it was considered unimpressive. It was not very much impressive to the client and to the business community, an accountant working from home. So they would not trust you as much as an accountant who has a proper business office. But now the things have changed. So now as an accountant, you can work from home and everybody will accept you. That is a normal way to do business. So imagine how much change will come. I remember that old days when I, as an accountant, you put an alarm before you go to the bed, an alarm rings, and you get up, you get ready, you take shower, you have your children dropped up to the school, and then face the rush hour in the traffic, and then go to the work. Oh, I made it 9 o'clock. I'm not late because clock was ticking at the work. So those days, remember, and those days will be no change. So you do not have to go to work every day, most of them, most of us. So we can work from home. So now another thing what also be very much coming into accounting profession is the accountant will not be getting paid on hourly or salary basis. Most of the accountant will get paid on base of the job done, on base of the productivity, how many files you have dealt with, how many taxes you have filed, how many companies you have prepared financial statement. So accountant will get paid on basis of work done. So any smart accountant, hardworking accountant, rather be working for themselves and getting paid on the work done than work as hourly or salary people. I know a lot of young people today, they're working with accounting firm and they are getting paid on salary, and they are working like so many extra hours. So imagine if those young accountants are working on a job to job basis, how much money they can make. So these are the norm of the things will change, and this is how we will be able to do things. Another thing which was also impacting pre-COVID and post-COVID, because before all our accounting programs are in the office, all our client data is in the office. So if I want to meet with a client, I have to come to office because everything, all the file storage data is in my office. But now it's not necessary because most of my clients' files are stored in the cloud, and most of my program are online accessible wherever I am all over the globe. So that changes also that now is possible, now is practical, now is efficient to be working remotely from home or anywhere. But all these things bring the consequences and precautions that we have as a content to be prepared and to be ready for that one. There will be a lot of job creation. You cannot imagine. There will be no accountant jobless. I can tell you that much. If you are a good accountant, you're a hardworking accountant, you will have a job, and there will be plenty of job and there will be shortage of accountants. That's coming in next 3 to 5 years. That is why RPA is better to prepare and be ready for that job creation which is coming for accounting profession with the new technology and with the new way of doing things. So this is going to be like my overview about pre-COVID and post-COVID. Another thing I would also like to add in here, that as an RPA, we were lucky and we were ahead of the time that in the early 2019, we started revamping and reforming our education program. So when we reformed our education program, RPA program 2020, and we had consulted Mike Saniga, who's an education expert, helped us to formalize and finalize the program 2020. Our program 2020 is on based on 5 basic areas of profession. That's management accounting, financial accounting, taxation, technology, so and ethics. So these are the things or main core area of education for young accountants who are just starting up accounting profession today. And then after that, you just write your mandatory professional exam, take 16 courses as a prerequisite from the college or university, and then write your NPE, and then you become RPA. So once you become a basic RPA, then you choose the area of your specialization. You want to focus on tax, then you become tax specialist. You want to focus on management accounting, you become expert in management accounting, and so forth and so forth. So this is the concept of RPA we developed. Surprisingly, I was just reviewing some notes from AICPA, American Institute of Professional Accountant, and they are also adopting the similar approach. And you can also hear about it and check about it online. The CPA in America is also revamping their CPA designation and licensing process, that they will also minimize the courses for CPA, just the basic courses like we did for RPA. And then once you pass the CPA exam, then you choose your specialization area, that you want to be a CPA for tax and you want to be CPA for CM for management accounting or other different areas. So this is how basically I think we are now model, our education model is very close to American CPA, and we are using the same philosophy and same techniques how to train our future accountants. So this is about my analysis about pre-COVID and after COVID. And please, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me in between my discussion. So we will go further. So my next item on agenda is whatever law we need is home office. So everybody needs a home office. So selecting a home office, the most important thing is the location of your office within your home, where you would have the office. I have seen people working from home on their kitchen table with the children running around and food on the table and the drinks on the table and food drinks, dropping off and all the mess and children and the noise and the people working from home. That is not a professional way to do work from home. If you as an accountant want to work from home, you should have a dedicated area of your house, and preferably if you're living in a house, a room like bedroom, extra bedroom, or a den area. And if you're living in a condo or an apartment, then you select an isolated corner which is not like in the middle of anything and close to window in a corner where you can set up your office, so that it is not in the way and you have little peace and quietness, and you can concentrate on your work and you can set it up. So this is the most important thing is. And then obviously then you need to select your furniture, office furniture. That is your personal choice. Definitely you need a desk, you need a chair, you need a basic thing. That is of your choice. Doesn't matter you like a fancy wooden desk or you like a regular glass desk. That is your choice. You can pick. And definitely once you select an office space in your house, then you need to shop for hardware and software for your office as an accountant. So, so that's item is that how to select your hardware. And I will say that it's very simple. It's not too fancy, not too expensive. It's your personal choice too. But this is a minimum I will recommend that our RPA members and professional accountants should have. So once you have your office set up in your house with the nice and quiet area, then you select you want to have a desktop or you want to have a laptop. I personally prefer to have a desktop at home, so then your work to have more convenience and more flexibility. Laptop have some less flexibilities, and you can take the laptop when you go away to work. But you must have desktop and laptop in your home office. And then today is the most important thing. Than anything else is a webcam. So I will suggest pick a high definition, good webcam, because that is how you are going to project your image. Whoever is going to be in contact with you through your Zoom meeting, Skype meeting, or any other tools using for the meeting. So they want to see your image clear and bright and attractive. And the second thing is to have high definition microphone and speakers, because you want to be heard, you want to be seen, and you want to be heard. And also you want to hear who is talking to you. So that all these things must be in a good quality, and they're not very expensive. You can pick them choose. And obviously you need a printer, which in my personal opinion, in next 3 to 5 years, printer probably will be useless and nobody will be printing papers anymore. Everything will be stored electronically. But today you need a printer. I will preferably suggest to have a laser printer. And if you can have a color laser printer, that's one better for a good presentation. And also at home, you need a fast wireless and cable internet. So that's also. And also the next item is the telephone. If you have, sorry, if you have a land phone, that is fine. But I will advise and prefer voice over IP, because voice over IP telephone, you have flexibility that you can carry with you wherever you go. And it can be in your laptop, you are going away, and then you can be phoning people, same number, people calling you, and you can be in touch. Voice over IP telephone is the most preferable mode for today. Okay, so next thing what we need to do is to, obviously, once you have your office space and you have your hardware, and then now the next item you need to pick is your software. As an accountant, today the most popular software for accounting are QuickBook Online. That is very common in Canada right now, and there's nothing wrong. You can pick QuickBook Online and install in your computer. And you can also, I see, a second most popular and coming very popular is Zero web-based accounting software. You can even go for that. Or it's very already been used a long time, Sage 50 cloud software, and which is also known today is very important, receipt bank. So for your client to, they have like a small slips, they spend money and they need to store that one. So then if you have a receipt bank software, then you can put all those receipts in that program, and it will help you to finalize and keep your record electronically. So these are the basic accounting programs. There are so many of them out there, and there's no restrictions that one over other. Is a personal choice, and it's also acceptability in the accounting profession. Which one is commonly used? Always is good to use. And after your accounting software, then you as accountant, you need tax programs. So you definitely need the tax program for T1, your personal tax returns, T2 for your corporate tax return, T3 for your trust income slips, T4 your employment income, T4A subcontractor, and T5 your investment income. So basically, you need these program for your professional office to set up that you have all the tools to do your taxes for your clients and for your employer. And for again tax program, there are many out there. It's all your personal choice, what suits you and what you like. And there's a profile which is mostly used by professionals and big accounting firms. There's a TurboTax, there's a visual tax, there's tax prep, artificial intelligence, and I think the profile and tax preps are mostly for a big client and big companies and big accounting firm. They use these. For small and one, two people accounting office, TurboTax or visual tax should be okay. I personally use visual tax. It is sufficient for me and my client, and I'm okay with it. So, and I'm used to it, so that is fine. And the another thing what you must have for your home office is Windows 10 Professional, Microsoft 365. Now here, I'm going to also try to convince you, and if you are already have your accounting practice or you're planning to have your accounting practice, you must have today a program called CRM program called HubSpot, or you can also have Microsoft Dynamics, whichever one is you like and you used to or you have experience and knowledge. So pick one of these two programs. I picked the HubSpot. I tell you the truth that all my clients are on HubSpot. They are on my phone, they are on my computer. I can email them wherever I am. I can even text message them. I can even call them. I can even call them. No, I recently I learned that I'm also learning as the technology is coming important for us to be trained for, that you can link your HubSpot with Zoom. So you go to your HubSpot and you can schedule your Zoom meeting through HubSpot. So vice versa. So this is the other thing that also because it will help you to plan your time, to have all the record kept there, all the communication, all the correspondence safe in your CRM program, and you can even also have marketing and sales to do the marketing using CRM HubSpot program as well. So you can expand your clientele base, and this is basically all these things. Today, if you are starting a practice, this is all you need to have. And then all these things, in my personal opinion, should not cost more than $10,000. And then you can imagine that you have your own practice with everything what you need with the next $10,000. And it's like, where can you get a business or start a practice with $10,000? This is something. And I think most and most of the professional accountants, if you have all these things, I think you are covered. You are professional. You know what you're doing. And anything which you don't have here, basically you are still living in the past, and people living in the past cannot move forward in the future after COVID-19. So this is the must to have this program and that hardware and that home office, and everybody can work from home. And with the social distancing now, with keeping the 2 meter distance here, if that is, imagine that one with the Zoom and with the CRM HubSpot, your social distance is finished. Like the way I'm talking to you, there's no social distance between you and me. We can talk, we can discuss, we can do anything what we want to do, all kind of business transaction, all kind of training, all kind of communication. That is where we are leading towards the future. So I think the future belongs to the accountant, and there's a big demand for accountant to do these things. So next item on the agenda, we're going to talk about it, is about confidentiality. Confidentiality and cybersecurity, what you should do and what you should not do. So basically, a code of ethics imposes a duty of confidentiality on all members. RPM members must adhere to this code of ethics. A member in professional practice must provide an acceptable professional standard of facilities to ensure that communication with and records of clients are kept confidential and secure. So this is a very important ethical issue, professional issue, that you must maintain the client confidentiality and the cyber security. And in there, you have few things you must do and few things you don't do. So let's talk about one by one. The first thing is to protect the sensitive work. Can people overhear you? Can you see your screen or read your document? So imagine that one, you have a home office, you have a computer working, and you're working on a computer screen, and you're talking to the client, and people around you, or guests around you, or your family member, or your other family member, or children, can they hear your voice? Can they see your screen? Can they read your documents? That is the breach of confidentiality, because that is the contract that you have with your client, that only you know and the client know. Nobody else, even your own family member, children, wife, should not know what you and your clients are dealing with, their confidential financial and tax matters. And you must be sensitive to that. And where possible, do your work on dedicated work equipment. That means that you must do your business, your client, your job related work on dedicated equipment. You should not use your personal computer, laptop, doing your work business or your job business or your client business. And so you should have dedicated computer just for the business, so that you do not mix up your family matters, family activity of your computer with your business client. So that is also you must be aware of. And do use secure internet connection to minimize cyber security risk. So you must have your internet secure. When you're working from home for your employer or for your own clients, your internet must be secure. That is the key. And then remain aware of and vigilant against cyber attacks. So even though your internet is secure, there is still possibility of cyber attack, and hackers can come and attack your computer. So imagine that one, somebody get access to your computer or your client, their private and their confidential, their personal information. That's a breach of contract. That's a breach of confidentiality. So that means there are consequences. So you will be personally liable as employee or as a practitioner, accounting practitioner. So you must keep that confidentiality secure. And lock your computer screen when you are not using it. So let's say you're working on a computer screen with some client information open on the screen, and you have to go to washroom, you have to go grab coffee, or you have to go see somebody knocking at the door, and then you're leaving everything open there. That is also not acceptable because your family member, your guest, anybody in your house can go and read and see that screen, and that means you will be breach of confidentiality. So you should avoid that one. Minimize the use of physical documents. So this is also very important that you should not have print out documents sitting on your desk, and you try to minimize that one. For example, some of my clients sending me their T4, T5 and slips like that, information like that, and I print them and then I enter in the computer. That's not acceptable. You should try to not to print it. You should try to electronically or through computer. There are ways now to transfer that information to the program, not print out. When somebody, your client sends you the bank statement, do not print the bank statement. So this is what we are trying to tell you, that minimize the printing of any document of any client. If you have to, that's a different story. But as long as you are aware of it, that you are not unnecessarily printing any document which can breach your confidentiality and security of the client record. And then also be aware of a phishing attempt or cyber attack. This is very common these days. I'm getting these phishing scans every day. People sending me those emails. They will try to hack in my computer. So you've got to be very, very vigilant and careful. Do not open any email, any attachment if you do not expect it or you do not know who is sending you. And if you even have a doubt, like if somebody, a friend sends you something and you have a doubt, call them to verify that did you send me the email. If he says yes, then you open. If you say no, then here you are, somebody trying to pretend of your friend or your client, but they are not right people, but they're trying to get you access. Use a password protected Wi-Fi. This is very, very important that the Wi-Fi you're using at home is password protected. So that way, all your internet communication is safe and secure. Connect with your software partner and draw on their tips on working remotely. Some software companies also give you the tips. How can you securely, efficiently, effectively, productively use that software? For example, when I talk to you about uh, the seed bank or accounting program, a tax program. So feel free to call them and ask them how you can enhance the productivity and security using that program. Ensure any hard document, work paper, client report, correspondence not stored securely. So make sure that you secure all those documents, correspondence of the client securely in the safety, so nobody can have access to that. And there are things that you do not do. Don't print document with personal information. So any client's paper come with their personal information, their SIN number, their date of birth, their other address and name and whatnot. So make sure never print that paper so that you can have a difficulty that information can leak out. Discard printed or hard copy document with general disposal. So that means do not discard paper. So if you had a confidential private information of a client in a paper, do not just throw it in the garbage bin. So make sure that you shred it, or you get it burned, or you dispose it of securely. Okay, let others use dedicated work equipment. Do not let other people use your business computer. So let's say you are at home, you're working on a business computer, you're as an employee or as a professional, and your friend or some cousin come in and he says, "Oh, can I use your computer?" no, sorry, you cannot use my business computer. You can use my home computer, laptop, which is my home thing, but you cannot use my business computer. And sometime your friend or your relative come to you and they want to ask you, oh, I have my laptop with me. What is your Wi-Fi password? So you got to be very careful handing out to your Wi-Fi password to your friends and to your relatives who are visiting you at your home. Okay. Use personal devices. Do not use personal devices, email, or non-approved IT platform. So a lot of time people use their personal email address to send a business document or business communication, or using their personal devices and other things, IT platform, which is for the business purposes. That's also not allowed. That you should not be using that for your business purposes. So that means you have to separate and business for business and personal for personal. This is the key. Remember that one. Okay. And never use public internet. So let's say you went to a coffee shop, or you went to, in a train or in a bus, and there's a internet there, and you have your business laptop or your business equipment with you, and you connect with that one. That is also completely prohibited. It's not good to use those public internet connections. Click links from an email sent by unknown person. Do not click that email which you do not know or you are not expecting. So that is the key. So you must be aware of. The another thing on client confidentiality and cybersecurity, number two is uphold the code's other fundamental principles of integrity, objectivity, professional competence, due care, and professional behavior. These are the things that you must be aware of. These are the code of ethics for our RPA members and for professional accountants. When making decisions and taking action, integrate the fundamental principle into your decision making, for example, as well as complying with your professional obligation to maintain confidentiality, ensure personal information remains secure, and data breaches are reported to comply with the privacy and the legislation. So if your security is breached, you have to report that to the Privacy Commission of Ontario, Canada, wherever, whatever jurisdiction you are living. Be open and honest with your clients and team about the arrangement being put in place, both during and after the transition phase. So when you are setting up all these security rules and procedures and all these ethical policies, make sure that you communicate all these with your clients and with your team members or your staff who are working from remotely from their home. So you should all be in the same wavelength. So you all know what you're doing. So now we will talk about what you must do. Lead, for example, to maintain a collaborative workplace. So if you are the boss, you make sure you collaborate with your team for all these maintaining the workplace procedure and system to maintain the integrity of the record and storage of your record. Remind your team about data breaches, what constitutes a data breach, and what to do if one occurs. So this is also important that, say for example, you have 5 people working for you at different locations, and one of your employee or your team member had a problem, his computer is hacked or something data is breached. So make sure immediately you communicate that with your other team members. So the other team members are also aware of that something had happened somewhere. So they can be more careful, or they can be, vigilant to be controlling the data and not letting hackers or other people get into it. So this breach of data is very important that you communicate with your team. Communicate openly and regularly with your team so they feel supported in the new way of working. And so any potential issue surface quickly and can more easily be dealt with. Exactly, but as I said, so if there's something had happened, quickly control the damage control and also communicate with the rest of the team So they all know that something happened and what to do, and stop adding problem to the problem. So the thing is, help your team with information on setting up their workspace. Supply or reimburse for equipment, internet, etc. if necessary. For example, if you have team member as you're a boss in an office, an accounting office, and you have other team member in your staff working from remotely, so make sure either you reimburse them whatever their expenses are, or provide them the equipment they're going to be using, because those equipment will be dedicated to your work only, because you do not want them to be working from their own computer for your client and for your work. That is also not professional and not ethical. So that is something you got to be very, very careful. Okay, proactively communicate with your client so they know you are still there for them and acting to provide quality and timely services. So if something breaks and something happens, make sure you communicate with your clients as well. So telling them that we had a little problem, but we are working on it, we are on top of it, and your work will be not affected, or if will be affected, whatever is going on. So communicate. The communication is the key. So you must communicate what is happening, so then everybody, your client and your employer, are aware of it. Keep up to date with engagement-specific issues arising in a virtual environment. So another thing is that whatever the work-related things are arising in a remote office or virtual office, you got to keep up with all the information and keep all the file and record keeping all on time. And then other things, you do not encourage exception reporting only, especially in the transition phase to a virtual workplace. So when you set up some rules, make sure there are no exception to those rules. Those policies are policies everybody must follow. There's no exception. If you start giving the exception to one team member, the other team member will also start using those exceptions, and all of a sudden your policy, your procedure is out of control and loose and goose. So it means it's not working properly. Don't assume working remotely is easy. Some of your team may find more challenging than others. So when you have a team member, you're just saying, oh, it's very easy, just take the computer, work from home. Well, no, that team member may not have those other resources which we discussed, like dedicated internet, a dedicated office, peaceful, safe, secure, quiet place, all those things that team member may not have. So you have to work with them to make it happen, to be practical, and to be efficient, and to be secure. So you got to work with your team, and then do not assume that, oh, it's easy for A and it should be easy for B too. So no, B may have different circumstances or situations that you got to deal with it and you have to work with it. You cannot just ignore it. So far, I think I am doing all the talking. Anybody have any question, please feel free to launch any question. Let me see if anybody send any question. There's no question so far. I think everybody is holding that to the last minute. Okay, the other most important matter in client confidentiality is to review and update your practices risk management framework and quality control policies and procedures so they are effective in your virtual workplace. So a practice is required to establish and maintain a system of quality control designed to provide it with reasonable assurance that the practice and its personnel comply with professional standards and applicable legal and regulatory requirements, and that reports issued by the practice or by the partner are appropriate in the circumstances. So this is something as part of your code of ethics you must comply with, and you must be aware of it. So now the things to do: review your practice risk framework and amend for new and emerging risk to ensure your quality control policies and procedure remain effective. So whatever the procedure you put in place, so make sure you review them, that they can change with the change of technology, or they can also change with the change of circumstances, or change of other implication of your software or client requirement. So please review them, those framework of your security time to time. Reassess the key controls in your practice that could be impacted by implementing virtual teams. So the same thing, the control. So you keep assessing your control. You know your security password, your security level. Your team member, different team member may have different level of access to your information. So make sure you regularly assess that one and maintain that one and update that one accordingly. The control of your system. Keep supervising and reviewing your team's work and documenting the review in workplace. So you keep reviewing their work as well. So when they do the work, you regularly review them timely basis. And if you see any problem there, you can fix right there and then. So that means you should be on top of all those documentation which are prepared by your team. Track your equipment. Remind your people to keep your equipment safe. So that's another key area I think is coming back again, that if this is a computer related to your work of business or your employer, so make sure that nobody else is using it. So that equipment should not be allowed for other people to use. So you track that you have that computer. It's not lost, it's not stolen, so it's not missing. So it is, it is there. So if you have 5 team member, you bought 5 laptops for them. So you make sure on timely basis that you still have 5 laptops. They are accessible. They are not stolen. And also ensure your team has access to useful guides on how to use apps or software effectively. So this is also part of the training, I believe, that you must make sure that your team is getting training and up-to-date information on use of app and softwares effectively, because software do get changed and improved. So new functionality, new feature. So make sure your staff knows all those. Okay, another item is do connect with RPA Canada and other professional accountants working through the same transition. If you have any question about this thing, you make sure you communicate with RPA Canada, or you call other accountants of your discipline, other RPAs, and discuss with them and help each other, because that's another obligation as a professional, that we must help other professionals to maintain and update their knowledge. So the next item, don't. Don't assume the old way of working is effective in the new environment. So when you are changing after COVID-19, the new way of working, do not assume that old way is also acceptable and is also effective, and new and old. So do not mix them up. So forget the old way of doing things. This is where I always emphasize and always stress: learn, unlearn, and relearn. So there are a few items we have to unlearn. So these are one of those items, that old environment system which we were using before COVID-19, we have unlearned it. They take off our memory or your habit and the way of doing things. So we have to move to the relearn to a new process, a new system, new policies, new procedures. So that is something that we must do. Don't assume your team needs every email, reads every email and understand your written direction. So this is also very important. Some team member get the email, they just read quickly and do not even understand, and they think they understood, but it is not understood properly. So I remember when I was working as a controller, I used to write memos to my staff and always leave 1 or 2 spelling errors. And I used to tell my staff, you have to make sure if I give my spelling error, you have to correct me. So then I will know that which of my staff brought to me, oh, you made this spelling error. So if my staff didn't bring me the spelling error, that means my staff didn't read my memo. So that means exactly same rule apply when you as a team leader sending out direction and email to the team member. So do not assume that they read them and they understood. Don't feel you are the only one going through this. So remember, you are not the only one going through this post-COVID changes, environment, new system, new technology, new way of doing things. You are not the only one. We are all in it together. Whole accounting profession, whole accounting offices, whole accounting firm. We are all in it together. So please help each other and teach each other. Guide each other. And if you have any question, ask from other your fellow accountant. And we are here as a accounting brotherhood. So we must help each other. Basically, that is what something we discuss. And let's see, cybersecurity. We had a very informative webinar on cybersecurity. I know those of you who attended, it was very informative, knowledgeable, and I will just re-emphasize here again, cybersecurity, keep your software up to date. So make sure that your software is always up to date. Why? Because software people also find that their software was compromised somewhere and some hacker can easily get into that software, so they update their software. So when they update their software because of the technology or because of the legal laws and information, so you make sure that your software is always up to date. Like I give you one example of tax program. So even though we start filing our tax returns of the clients, but time to time, our software provider provide us an upgrade, because as soon as they find that there's some glitch or some problem in the software, they update. And if I do not update my software, so any work I am filing may be affected because of that software glitch. Use antivirus protection and firewall. So to be secure from the cyber use attack, you use antivirus protection and firewall. This is very, very important. Use strong password and use a password management tool. So it is very much important these days. I know that most of us, we make password with our name or date of birth or something like that, and we have to stop this one. So we have to use a strong password, which not even individual, but even a computer will have difficulty to catching your password. So that is you have to make sure all your passwords are very strong. And now there's also password management tool, where if you register with them, and every time you go start a program, they send you the code. And if you receive the code, you enter the code, and only then you can use that program. And this is make sure that you use that one or use a strong password. And another thing for cybersecurity tool is use two-factor and multi-factor authentication. So that is another way to have the higher security of your access to your computer and your computer program and your computer access. Learn about phishing scams. Be very suspicious of emails, phone calls, and flyers. This is the most easy way that a hacker can get into your email, your computer, is that they are sending you phishing scams, suspicious emails, phone calls to get some kind of information which they need to access your data or your computer or your personal identification. So make sure you are safe from that one and you do not, you watch for that suspicion. And now that's end of that discussion. And basically, I will suggest everybody stay at home, keep social distancing, wash hands, and stay alive, and learn. So this is very important. Take advantage of lockdown and learn, take some webinar, courses online, other things, because if you will not be prepared for the change after COVID-19, you may be losing your job, or you may be getting demotion instead of promotion, or you may be getting pay cut instead of getting pay raise. So that is if you are not ready, if you're not prepared. And I know RPA is very heavily emphasizing on training, continuing education, professional development. We have so many courses online available. We are even also putting some courses on our YouTube channel that professional and RPA can anytime access to that and learn the accounting technology and access and data analytics. I suggest that everybody must take data analytic courses, but that is going to be the big tool because since everything gonna be online, everything gonna be electronic, so that way data analytics will have more importance than anything else. So now, so let's see if anybody has any question. So I guess we are open for question. So please feel free to ask any question. I think if you have a question on your keyboard, you can type that question and send to us, and then we can reply your your question. And so far, I think there's no question at this time. So, Kasser,
Okay, thank you very much, Zubair. It was very informative session. So I hope everybody enjoyed. If you have any question, everybody most welcome. You can write the question at cpd@rpacanada.org. Be forwarding it to Mr. Zubair, and the answer will be right into your email. So thank you very much, everybody, once again for joining us. Those who joined today's session, their CPD certificate and CPD reports will be mailed to you in 2 weeks' time period. So once again, thank you very much, and have a very good day.
thank you very much for participating and attending, and hope to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.